Good morning. Before the world comes knocking, before the deadlines, the drama, the distractions, you've got to speak to yourself, loud and clear, because the world will try to define you. People will put limits on you. Life will test you. But if you don't anchor yourself first, you'll drift with the tide. So every morning before you scroll, before you sip, before you speak, remind yourself of these 10 truths. Not just once, every single morning. Let's go. I am responsible for my life. Say that again. I am responsible for my life. Let that sit with you for a moment. Because the day you say it and truly mean it, everything changes. That's not just a quote for your mirror or a caption under your photo. That's a declaration, a contract, a commitment you make not just with the world, but with yourself. Life will hit you. It will throw things at you that you didn't ask for, things you didn't deserve, and things that try to break you. Some of you have been through storms nobody else could survive. You've walked through fire and came out burned, not because you're weak, but because life is relentless. You didn't choose the pain, the betrayal, the setbacks. But here's the truth. They're not your fault, but what you do with them, that's all you. That's where your power lies. You see, life doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't knock gently and wait to be let in. It barges through the door, no warning, no introduction. And you're the one standing there in the aftermath. So the question isn't, why did this happen to me? The real question is, what am I going to do with what happened? Excuses sound good. They're dressed in logic. They wear suits made of reasons. But look deeper, and you'll see they're just fear trying to sound smart. They're your pain trying to negotiate with your potential. And you have to be bold enough to call them what they are, lies that keep you stuck. That's right. Because when you live in excuses, you trade your power for pity. You let your story become a prison. But accountability, now that's a different kind of strength. That's standing in the mirror and saying, no more blame. No more waiting on someone else to change my life. That's saying, I've been hurt, but I won't stay broken. I've been knocked down, but I will not live on the floor. That's the voice of someone who's decided to lead their life instead of being led by it. You are the author of your story. You hold the pen. Don't hand it to someone else. Don't let the people who hurt you write your next chapter. Don't let fear decide the plot twist. You take the pen. You take it with all your pain, all your joy, all your doubt, all your hope, and you write something powerful. The world wants to tell you you're a victim. It wants to put you in a category, define you by your struggle. But you are not your wounds. You are not your past. You are not the mistake someone else made that scarred you. You are not the silence that followed the betrayal. You are the fire that came after. You are the resilience that refused to stay buried. You are the strength that rose not because it was easy, but because there was no other choice. When you take responsibility for your life, you don't just take control, you take flight. You elevate. You unlock the version of you that isn't ruled by fear or limited by doubt. You start to walk different, speak different. Not because life got easier, but because you got stronger. Some of you are waiting for a sign, waiting for someone to come and rescue you, waiting for the fear to pass. Let me tell you something, it's not coming. No one is coming to save you. You are the rescue. You are the answer. You are the miracle you've been waiting for. The moment you take responsibility is the moment you stop living life on default. You start creating on purpose. You stop reacting and you start responding. You stop surviving and you start thriving. That's not theory, that's real. That's been studied, measured, proven. Harvard ran the numbers. People who feel in control of their lives, who take ownership, who stop blaming, those people perform better. They're more motivated. They're more focused. And they live with less stress. Why? Because even when the world shakes, their foundation doesn't. It's easy to be angry. It's easy to point fingers. It's easy to say, I would be farther if it wasn't for them. But that won't change your life. That won't move you forward. What will change your life is saying, in spite of them, I will rise. In spite of what happened, I will grow. I will build something out of this brokenness. You have that power. Not someday, not if everything goes right. Right now, you have it today. In the middle of your storm, in the middle of your doubt, in the middle of your fear, You have the power to choose. Choose ownership. Choose to lead yourself. Choose to stop being a passenger in your own story, because the day doesn't happen to you. It happens through you. You are not here by accident. You are here with purpose. And the moment you say, I am responsible for my life, the universe hears you and something shifts, not just outside, but inside. That's where change begins. That's where freedom lives. That's where the real you is waiting. Today is a gift, not tomorrow, not next week, not someday. Today, this moment, this breath, that heartbeat you barely notice anymore. That's a miracle on repeat. You woke up. That alone is a victory. Don't miss that. Don't rush past that truth. You opened your eyes and the world gave you one more shot, one more sunrise, one more chance to do something with your life. Thousands didn't get that chance. They had plans for today, dreams, conversations they were going to have, people they were going to love, steps they were going to take, but they didn't make it. You did. And if that doesn't move something inside you, check your pulse. Because waking up, that's the starting line of greatness. You don't have to earn it, you just have to respect it. See too many people walk through life like they've got all the time in the world. They treat today like it's disposable, like it's just a placeholder for a better tomorrow. But there are no guarantees. Life doesn't owe you the next hour, it gives you now. And what you do with now, that's where your legacy begins. We waste too much energy complaining about what we don't have, wishing we were somewhere else, scrolling through everybody else's life and forgetting to live our own. But let me ask you something. How much of your life have you already spent waiting for the perfect moment? Waiting to feel ready, waiting for the fear to go away. That waiting is stealing your purpose. And every second you waste on regret or comparison is a second you'll never get back. Today is not small. Today is not average. Today holds power. Today holds potential. But you have to claim it. You have to walk into it with your head up, your heart open, and your spirit locked in. Don't use today to replay the past. Don't use it to feed bitterness. Don't use it to water the weeds of doubt. Use it to build something. Use it to speak life. Use it to love somebody who forgot they mattered. Use it to grow, to give, to go. Every single one of us has something we were born to do. A calling, a mission. And the truth is, it's not going to wait forever. Opportunities are like windows. They open and they close. If you're not ready, if you're not awake, if you're not tuned in, you'll miss them. You'll miss the chance to say something that could have changed someone's day. You'll miss the door that could have led to the dream. And you'll convince yourself it wasn't meant to be, when really, you just weren't present enough to catch it. The people who make the most of life aren't the ones with the perfect past or the smoothest path. They're the ones who decide to show up, decide to put in the work, decide to give their best, even when it's not easy. Especially when it's not easy, they look at the day and say, if this is the only one I get, I'm not going to waste it living beneath my potential. You were not put here to drift. You were not born to barely get by. You were created with purpose on purpose. So stop hiding. Stop shrinking to fit someone else's comfort zone. Stop apologizing for being passionate. Take this day and run with it. Be bold with your gratitude. Be fierce with your focus. Be unapologetic with your purpose. There is something only you can bring to this world. A word only you can speak. A gift only you can give. That's not motivational fluff. That's reality. So act like it. Talk like it. Move like it. There's somebody out there waiting on the version of you that shows up with fire, not fear. There's somebody who needs your courage to ignite theirs. Somebody who needs your light to help them see. And let's be real, life's not always kind. It throws pain at you, loss, failure, rejection. Some days are heavy, but even then, especially then, don't waste it. Don't waste the pain. Let it teach you. Let it sharpen you. Let it remind you that you're still here, still breathing, still fighting, and that means something. That means everything. Look, you don't have to change the whole world today, but you can change your world. You can change how you show up, how you think, how you speak to yourself, how you treat the people around you. That's power. That's impact. That's legacy. And it starts with the decision to honor today like it matters, because it does. The moment you see today as a gift, you stop wasting time. You stop making excuses. You stop settling. You realize every second you spend being bitter could have been a moment to get better. Every breath is borrowed time. So don't just breathe, live. Don't just survive, move. Don't just watch, participate. Because today is more than just a date on a calendar, it's a door, and it's open. The only question left is, will you walk through it? My past does not define my future. Let that sink in. Say it again until you believe it. Because the world will try to keep you in chains you've already outgrown. People will remind you of what you did, where you fell, how you failed. But you have to remember this. Whatever happened before this moment is over. It's finished, it's done. And it only has the power you choose to give it. You've made mistakes. Good. That means you've lived. That means you've risked something. That means you weren't afraid to try. Because the only people who don't make mistakes are the ones who never move, never dream, never reach. Mistakes are not the end. They're the evidence that you're alive and learning. And if you've learned, you've grown. And if you've grown, you're already stronger than the person who made those mistakes. So why do you keep dragging your past into your present? Why do you let it cloud your vision of tomorrow? Your past is a place of reference, not residence. Don't unpack your bags there. Don't pitch a tent in yesterday's pain. Don't let an old chapter hold a pen over the pages you haven't written yet. You don't owe your past another minute of your life. Some of you are carrying shame that doesn't belong to you. You're replaying words spoken over you that were never true. You're holding on to guilt from choices you made when you didn't know better. But you know better now. And knowing better gives you the power to do better. That's growth. That's redemption. That's real strength. Don't let anyone tell you your story is over just because they can't see your future. Every scar you carry is a sign you survived. Every tear you shed watered the soil of your resilience. Every time you fell, you learned how to stand taller. Your past is not a prison, it's a classroom. It's where you gain the wisdom that will guide you to the places you're meant to go. Don't curse your past. Thank it for what it taught you. But don't you dare let it chain you down. You are not your failures. You are not your trauma. You are not the worst thing that ever happened to you. You are not the worst thing you've ever done. You are the lesson that came from it. You are the courage that rose out of it. You are the future that can only exist because you made it through. And that future is waiting on you to stop letting yesterday dictate today. People will try to define you by your mistakes because they're afraid of who you'll become if you rise above them. Don't let their small minds limit your big dreams. Don't let their judgment silence your potential. Remember, people love to talk about your past because they're intimidated by the promise of your future. But your future isn't written by their opinions. It's written by your actions. And today is the day you start acting like you know what you're worth. If you keep looking backward, you'll crash into what's ahead. Life is moving forward with or without you. You can't drive your life looking in the rearview mirror. It's time to face the road in front of you. It's time to build what's next. Because your destiny is not behind you. It's not trapped in that bad decision, that heartbreak, that loss. Your destiny is ahead, waiting on you to step into it with faith, with focus, with the fire that says, I will not be defined by what tried to break me. I know some of you are tired. Tired of carrying the weight of old regrets. Tired of believing you're disqualified because of what you've been through. But hear me. There is nothing you've done that can cancel the purpose you were born with. There is no mistake big enough to erase the possibility of your greatness. The only thing that can keep you from it is your refusal to let go of what's already gone. You have a choice today. Keep letting your past write your future, or take the pen back and start a new story. A story of strength, a story of forgiveness, a story of second chances, a story of becoming who you were always meant to be. Because your future doesn't care how many times you fell. It only cares how many times you get up. You are not the sum of your worst days. You are the product of every time you decided to keep going. The past doesn't have the right to dictate the rest of your life unless you give it that power. Don't give it that power. Take it back. Live like you believe in tomorrow. Dream like you know it's possible. Move like the chains are gone, because they are. You are free. Free to build, to love, to heal, to grow. Free to rewrite the narrative. Free to prove to yourself that where you've been is nothing compared to where you're going. The past may have shaped you, but it doesn't own you. It doesn't define you. It doesn't get the final word, because your story isn't over. In fact, it's just getting started. I am enough right now, not tomorrow, not when I lose 10 pounds, not when I get the promotion, not when I earn another degree. Right now, in this moment, with all my flaws, with all my doubts, with everything I've been through, I am enough. Say it out loud. Let your soul hear it. Let every lie that ever told you otherwise break apart in the presence of that truth. Stop waiting until you're perfect to believe in yourself. You are not a project to be fixed. You are a person to be honored. Worth isn't earned by achievement. It's realized by awakening. You were already born with it. But life, this world, people, pain, they try to bury it. They try to convince you that you have to do something extraordinary to be someone valuable. But what if I told you you're already extraordinary? Because you're still here, still breathing, still trying. You've got to stop chasing validation like it's oxygen. You don't need another follower, another title, another dollar in your bank account to matter. None of that defines your value. That's decoration, not identity. Your identity is deeper. It was written before the world could tell you who to be. Before anyone else got a vote, purpose already chose you. You are enough. Right now, as you are. And when you truly know that, you stop apologizing for existing. You stop shrinking to make other people feel comfortable. You stop begging to be seen because you finally see yourself. Growth is beautiful. But don't confuse growth with proving. You're not here to convince anyone of your worth. You don't grow because you're not enough. You grow because you already are. And that kind of growth, that's rooted. That's real. That's not desperate for approval. That's fueled by purpose. That's the kind of growth that changes generations. But self-doubt, that's a thief. It will rob you of your voice, rob you of your moments, rob you of the life you were meant to live. And the worst part, it doesn't even need to be loud. It whispers. It waits. It shows up when you're tired, when you're vulnerable, when the world has been a little too cruel and you've been a little too quiet. It tells you you're not ready. You're not good enough. You're too late. And you start to believe it, not because it's true, but because it's familiar. Well, it's time to break up with the lie. It's time to evict that voice from your mind, because that voice is not you. That voice is fear dressed in your reflection. But the real you, the one who keeps showing up, the one who still dares to dream, the one who gets knocked down and refuses to stay down, that version of you, that's the truth. That's the fighter. That's the one you've been waiting to believe in. You don't have to do anything else to earn love. You don't have to become someone else to deserve peace. You don't have to hustle to prove your worth. You already have it. And the moment you start living like you believe that, the moment you stop seeking outside permission, you begin to walk differently. You begin to speak with conviction. You begin to look life in the eye and say, I'm not here to ask if I belong. I know I do. Some people won't understand your confidence. That's fine. Confidence built on truth doesn't need approval. It doesn't flinch when doubted, because it's not arrogance. It's awareness. Awareness of who you are. Awareness of what you bring. Awareness that you have nothing to prove and everything to give. You were created with purpose. Act like it. Not because you're better than anyone, but because you're finally done pretending you're less. There is something inside you that the world needs. A light, a voice, a kindness, a strength. Stop hiding it. Stop downplaying it. Stop telling yourself you're just anything. You're not just anything. You are exactly who you need to be to begin, right now. Not when everything lines up. Not when the fear disappears. Not when you've fixed every flaw. Now. Because the truth is, the world doesn't need your perfection. It needs your presence. It needs your authenticity. It needs your heart, your grit, your honesty, your scars. That's what inspires. That's what moves people. That's what matters. So show up. Show up in your truth. Show up with your doubts and do it anyway. Show up before you feel ready and let the doing build the confidence. Show up for your life like it's yours to claim, because it is. And every time that old lie creeps in, that lie that says you're not enough, silence it with your truth. Speak back to it with your fire. Say it loud. Say it clear. I am enough, right now, and then live like you mean it. Fear will not control me. Say it again until your soul hears you, because fear is loud, but it's also a liar. It'll scream in your ear when you're on the edge of something great. It'll whisper doubts when you're about to step into your next level. It doesn't want you to rise. It wants you to retreat. It'll tell you you're not ready, that you'll fail, that people will laugh, that you'll lose everything if you take one step outside your comfort zone. But the truth is, fear doesn't speak facts. It speaks feelings. And feelings can fool you. Fear isn't the voice of reason, it's the voice of resistance. And that voice, it shows up right before your breakthrough. It knows when you're getting close. It knows when you're about to change something, become something, break something that's been holding you for years. So it does what it does best. It lies. It tries to make you smaller. It wraps itself in logic. It dresses up as caution. But deep down, you know the difference between fear that protects and fear that paralyzes. One keeps you safe, the other keeps you stuck. Fear will tell you to sit back, to wait, to play it safe. But if you keep waiting for it to go away, you'll never move. You'll wake up a year from now, 5 years from now, still wondering what could have happened if you'd just gone for it. That's the cost of fear. Not danger, regret. You're going to fail sometimes. So what? Failure isn't the end. It's the tuition you pay for growth. You think people who changed the world never failed. You think purpose came easy. Let me tell you something. Comfort never created greatness. Playing it safe never wrote a legacy. Playing small never changed lives. Look at Thomas Edison. He failed over 1,000 times trying to create the light bulb. 1,000 times. Most people would have quit at 10. Some at 1. But when they asked him how it felt to fail so many times, he said, I didn't fail. I found 1,000 ways that didn't work. That's not just perseverance. That's perspective. That's what happens when you don't let fear call the shots. When you stop seeing failure as a threat and start seeing it as a teacher. Be like that. Be the kind of person who doesn't run from fear, but walks through it. Not because you're fearless, because what's on the other side is worth it. Because you know your purpose is bigger than your panic. Because you finally decided that the cost of staying stuck is greater than the cost of falling forward. Let them laugh.
Let them doubt you.
Let them whisper about your failures. That's their fear talking, not yours. And their fear doesn't get to write your story. You were made to move mountains, not tiptoe around molehills. You were built to rise, not retreat. And yeah, fear will come. It comes for everyone, but you don't have to invite it in. You don't have to hand it the keys. You look it in the face and say, I see you. I feel you, but I will not be ruled by you. Because courage isn't the absence of fear. It's deciding to act anyway. It's standing up when your knees are shaking. It's speaking when your voice is cracking. It's showing up even when your hands are trembling. That's what real power looks like. It's not loud. It's not always pretty, but it's relentless. You're stronger than you think. You've already survived things that were meant to break you. Don't forget that. You've already made it through nights where you thought you wouldn't. You've cried, doubted, screamed, and you're still here. That means fear didn't win. It means something inside you is greater than whatever's trying to stop you. So no, fear will not control me. I won't let it steer my decisions. I won't let it shrink my dreams. I won't let it keep me silent, small, or soft when the world needs me strong. I will not hand over my destiny to doubt. I've come too far. I've lost too much. I've worked too hard. I owe it to myself to see what happens if I refuse to give in. This life is short, too short to spend it caged by what ifs and worst case scenarios. Too short to play a background role in your own story. Too short to bury your light just to stay safe. This is your time, your shot. Your turn to stop letting fear run the show and start living like you were born for something more. Because you were? You don't need to be fearless. You just need to be faithful to the fight. You don't need to silence fear. You just need to move louder than it. You don't need to destroy it. You just need to decide it doesn't get to decide for you. So walk forward. Even with the fear in your chest, walk forward. Even if your hands shake, build anyway. Even if your heart pounds, speak anyway. Even if your knees buckle, stand anyway. That's where freedom is. That's where purpose lives. That's where your power is waiting. Fear will come, but it will not control me. I will show up with integrity, not just when it's easy, not just when it benefits me, not when it looks good on paper or earns me applause. I will show up with integrity because it's who I am, not a performance, not a role. It's the truth I choose when no one's watching. It's the standard I hold when no one's clapping. Character isn't built in the spotlight. It's forged in the dark, when the cameras are off, when no one's tweeting about it, when there's no one around to give you a pat on the back. That's when your real self steps forward. And you've got to ask yourself, is that person consistent with the one you show the world? Because you don't need cameras, you don't need credit, you don't need to broadcast your values to validate them. What you need is consistency. That's what integrity is. It's being whole, solid, the same in every room, the same when it's profitable and when it's not, when it's popular and when it's not, when it costs you everything and when it gains you nothing. That kind of consistency, that's rare. Because we live in a world that rewards the highlight reel, a world that claps louder for the loudest voice, not the truest one. But your power isn't in noise, it's in presence, in how you carry yourself, in how you treat people who can't do anything for you, in how you honor your word even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Integrity shows up in your relationships, when you choose honesty over convenience, when you tell the truth even if it shakes things. It shows up in your work, when you give your best even when nobody sees it. It shows up in your commitments, when you follow through not because someone's watching, but because you are. Because you know who you are. Because your name means something to you. Because your word still matters. In a world full of filters, be the real thing. In a culture that's obsessed with image, choose substance. Don't just talk about values, live them. Don't just speak truth, embody it. Because authenticity isn't loud, but it echoes. It's a rare language, and people are starving to hear it. We've all seen what happens when people fake it. We've seen leaders fall. We've seen trust broken. We've seen talent rise without integrity and fall just as fast. So don't envy the ones who rise quickly by cutting corners. Don't compare yourself to the ones who gain the world and lose themselves in the process. Stay rooted, stay honest. Let your growth be slow if it has to. Just make sure it's real. You don't need to be perfect, but you do need to be aligned. When your actions match your values, when your intentions match your impact, that's when you're in alignment. That's when peace finds you. That's when you sleep well at night, not because life is easy, but because your soul is clean. You've got to decide right now that your integrity is not for sale, not for attention, not for followers, not for fast success. You've got to be the same person when you're praised and when you're overlooked, when you're winning and when you're losing. That's how trust is built, not just from others, but within yourself. Because every time you choose integrity, you become more of who you're meant to be. Every time you show up with honesty, you become someone people can count on. And more importantly, you become someone you can count on. That matters. That's how leaders are built. Not on charisma, but on character. There's going to be pressure to compromise, to perform, to cut a little corner here, take a shortcut there, and maybe no one would notice, but you would. And that knowing, that weight you carry when you've betrayed your own standard, is not worth the momentary gain. When you walk with integrity, you walk with power. Not the kind that demands attention, but the kind that commands respect, quietly, without needing to shout, because your life speaks for you. Your reputation arrives before you do. People feel when they're in the presence of someone who's solid, someone who can't be bought, someone who shows up with the same heart no matter the room. Let your yes mean yes. Let your no mean no. Let your presence be peace, your words be truth, and your actions be your loudest testimony. The world doesn't need more noise. It needs people who mean what they say, who live what they speak, who don't need to be seen to be real. So show up in every room, in every moment, in every decision. Show up with integrity, not because it's easy, but because it's right. Not because the world demands it, but because your soul does. Integrity isn't a switch you turn on when it's convenient. It's a foundation you build your life on. And once you've built it, nothing, no storm, no pressure, no applause can shake it. That's real power. That's real freedom. And that's what you carry when you decide to live true. Speak that kind of life. Speak that kind of truth. And most importantly, live it fluently. My time is valuable. I protect it. Because time is the only thing in this life I can't get back. You can lose money and earn it again. You can fall out with people and rebuild relationships. You can change cities, jobs, identities. But the one thing that's always moving, always slipping through your fingers is time. And most people don't realize how precious it is until it's too late. Until the clock runs out on a dream. Until the years stack up with nothing but regret and empty promises to themselves. Until the silence gets louder and the weight of "I should have" becomes unbearable. So I won't wait until then. I choose to be intentional now. I don't let time just happen to me. I take control of it. I don't live by default. I live by design. Every hour has value. Every moment carries purpose. I protect it not because I'm too busy, because I know what it's worth. You have to treat your time like your life depends on it. Because it does. You were not sent here to waste it. Not scrolling endlessly, not entertaining drama, not running after people who don't see your value. You were sent here to build something, to be something. And that requires time, presence, and energy. Guard it. Guard it like your legacy depends on it. Because it does. People will ask for your time like it's free. They'll pull at you, distract you, guilt you into giving away your focus. But not every invitation is an opportunity. Not every open door leads to purpose. Some are just detours, and some are traps disguised as good intentions. So you have to learn to say no. Say it without guilt. Say it without explanation. Not every no is rejection. Sometimes it's redirection. Sometimes it's self-respect. Sometimes it's the only way you can say yes to what actually matters. Saying no doesn't make you rude. It makes you wise. You don't owe everyone your time. You don't have to attend every event, take every call, answer every message, entertain every conversation. Your attention is your currency, and where you spend it shapes your entire life. Protect your energy. There are people and places that will drain you before you even realize it. Not because they're bad, but because they're misaligned. And you've got to stop giving the best parts of yourself to things that don't build you. You've got to ask yourself, who gets my time? Who gets access to me? And what are they doing with it? If the answer is chaos, confusion, compromise, then it's time to reevaluate. Because when your time is intentional, your life becomes intentional. When you start protecting your hours, you start protecting your peace, your dreams. You see, greatness doesn't happen in your spare time. It takes space. It takes focus. It takes quiet. Some of your greatest breakthroughs won't happen in the crowd. They'll happen in the stillness. In the moments where you chose to pause, to reflect, to listen. But most people are so busy doing everything, they never become anything. Running on empty, saying yes to everything and still feeling unfulfilled. That's the price of a distracted life. And you were made for more than that. You don't need to fill every calendar slot to feel successful. You don't need to rush just to feel worthy. Busy is not the same as purposeful. You can be constantly moving and still be going nowhere. So slow down, breathe. Ask yourself, am I spending time or am I investing it? Because the return on that investment is real. Where you put your time, you put your life. Every minute is a seed, and what you water will grow. So if you're always giving time to worry, fear, comparison, drama, don't be surprised when that's all you see growing. But if you give your time to growth, to peace, to love, to building, to rest, to vision, your life will reflect that. Be mindful of your habits. They are the quiet architects of your time. What you do daily shapes what you become permanently. You don't just wake up successful. You don't just stumble into peace. You build it with what you do every single day. Every choice counts. Every decision matters. Every yes and every no writes the story of your life. So write carefully. Your time is sacred. Not just the big moments, not just the milestone days, every day. Every moment. Every quiet hour where you're reading, praying, working, resting. That time, that's where your power is. That's where the foundation is built. And don't let anyone make you feel bad for protecting it. You're not being selfish. You're being wise. You're not pushing people away. You're pulling your purpose closer. And the ones meant to walk with you will understand. They'll respect your boundaries because they have their own. They won't drain you. They'll pour into you. So live like your time is priceless, because it is. Give it to what matters, to what lifts you, to what aligns with who you're becoming. Don't waste it trying to please people who wouldn't notice if you vanished. Don't spend it chasing validation that leaves you empty. Don't let your time be dictated by fear, guilt, or distraction. Live aware, live on purpose, and protect your time like your life depends on it, because it does. I have something to offer, and so do you. Don't you dare shrink. Don't you dare silence that voice, that idea, that passion, that gift. Don't downplay what was placed in you by design, because there's someone right now searching for what you carry. Someone praying for a word, for a spark, for a solution, and it's locked inside you. But they'll never find it if you keep hiding, if you keep questioning your worth, if you keep assuming your voice doesn't matter. It does. It always did. And it's not about being loud, it's about being real. You don't need to be the most followed. You don't need to be on the biggest stage. You don't need to have letters behind your name or millions in the bank to be impactful. What you need is belief. Not just in the idea, but in yourself. You need to believe that your experience, your pain, your triumphs, your failures, they didn't happen by accident. They were shaping something in you. Something powerful, something necessary. And someone, somewhere, is waiting on the other side of your obedience. They're not waiting for perfect. They're waiting for authentic. You see, there's a lie going around that says if it isn't massive, it isn't meaningful. If it isn't viral, it isn't valuable. But some of the most life-changing moments don't happen on stages. They happen in living rooms, in classrooms, in hospitals, in quiet one-on-one conversations. Don't underestimate the ripple of your voice just because it doesn't echo through stadiums. Maybe your story isn't wrapped in glitter. Maybe it's messy. Maybe it's scared. Maybe it's still healing. But that story, it carries wisdom, it carries weight. It carries the kind of authenticity this world is starving for. Don't bury it. Don't edit it until it's unrecognizable. Share it as it is.
Raw, real, human.
That's what people connect with. And maybe your gift doesn't look like anyone else's. Good, it's not supposed to. We weren't made to copy. We were made to contribute. So don't wait for permission. Don't wait for a perfect plan. Don't wait until you feel ready, because that moment may never come. Start where you are. With what you have, you may not feel like much, but when you offer it with heart, it multiplies. You have something in your hands that's enough to start. It may look like a small seed, but inside it is a forest. Inside that dream is freedom. Inside that song is healing. Inside that business is provision. Inside that idea is legacy. You don't have to know the whole path. You just have to take the first step. You were created to shine, not to outshine anyone else, but to illuminate your corner of the world. To bring light to the space you were designed to occupy. And when you show up, others get permission to show up too. Your courage gives birth to more courage. That's impact. That's leadership. That's purpose. So speak up, even if your voice trembles, even if your hands shake, even if you don't feel ready. You don't need the whole world to listen. You just need the right one. The one who needed to hear your words today. The one who saw themselves in your struggle. The one who found hope because you had the guts to show up. And let me tell you, impact doesn't come from perfection. It comes from presence, from being there when it counts, from showing up when it's inconvenient, from loving people when it's not easy, from giving your best when it goes unnoticed. You want to make a difference. Be consistent, be kind, be bold, be willing to stand in your truth even if it's uncomfortable. You have something to offer, not one day, not when you get it together right now, with your accent, with your scars, with your past, with your insecurities. Don't wait to feel worthy. Worthiness is not something you earn, it's something you accept. Stop hiding, stop dimming, stop believing the lie that you're too late, too flawed, too ordinary. You are not too anything, you are exactly what this moment needs, exactly what someone needs. The gift in you isn't just about you, it's about who it will touch, who it will heal, who it will wake up. The world needs your voice, not a copy of someone else's. We've heard them. Now it's your turn, your rhythm, your truth, your impact. Own it. Show up in the fullness of who you are, not who the world told you to be. You weren't made to blend in. You were made to build, so show up. Speak up. Shine not because you're trying to impress, but because you understand the assignment. Because you know lives are connected to your yes. Because you know your voice isn't just sound, it's a signal, a reminder, a light in someone else's darkness. You don't have to be famous to be impactful. You just have to be faithful to what's inside of you. That's enough. You are enough, and you have something to offer. Obstacles are opportunities in disguise. That thing standing in front of you right now, the challenge, the heartbreak, the delay, the failure, it's not there to destroy you. It's there to develop you. It's not the end of your path. It's a necessary part of your process. That mountain you see, it's not blocking the path. It is the path. The storm you're in right now, the pressure you're feeling, the uncertainty that keeps you awake at night, it's not proof that you're losing. It's proof that you're becoming. Because nothing real is formed without resistance. A tree doesn't grow roots until the wind tests it. A muscle doesn't grow stronger until it's stretched and torn. And diamonds, they're born under pressure, extreme heat, extreme force. That's how brilliance is formed. So what makes you think your growth will come wrapped in ease and comfort? We don't grow when life is perfect. We grow when it's hard. We grow when our faith is tested. When we're pushed past the point we thought we could endure. When the only thing left to do is dig deeper into something stronger than the situation. Something eternal inside you that won't quit. That challenge you're facing is not a wall, it's a mirror. It's showing you who you are when the spotlight is off and the applause is gone. When things don't go your way, that's when your true character steps up. That's when your calling is confirmed. Because if you only show up when it's easy, you're not ready. But if you can stand tall in the fire, if you can stay faithful in the drought, you're dangerous. Because you're unstoppable. See, the obstacle isn't a punishment, it's a preparation. That closed door, it wasn't rejection, it was redirection. That pain, that was purpose in disguise. You thought the storm came to drown you, but it came to cleanse you. To strip away the noise, the fear, the false comfort, and wake up the warrior inside of you. But you have to shift the question. Stop asking, why me? Start asking, what is this teaching me? That's how you flip the script. That's how you take the power back. Because when life squeezes you, you have a choice. You can crumble or you can rise. You can fold or you can fight. And if you've made it this far, you've already got fight in you. You've already survived things that tried to break you. You've already walked through days you didn't think you'd make it through. And here you are, still breathing, still standing, still becoming. Don't forget that. See, obstacles teach you things success never could. They teach patience, they teach humility, they teach grit. They make you ask hard questions about who you are and who you're becoming. They force you to let go of what's shallow and cling to what's solid. It's easy to be confident when everything's going your way. But real confidence shows up when nothing is. When you're in the dark and still choose to walk like the light is ahead. That's courage. That's vision. That's leadership. There's a version of you on the other side of this storm that's stronger, wiser, deeper, more focused. But you'll never meet them if you quit in the middle. Don't get so caught up in the pain that you forget the point. You're being built, not broken. And yes, it hurts. Growth always does. The shedding of old skin, the cracking of the shell, the stretching of what you thought was your limit. It hurts. But it's worth it. Because once you come through this, you'll carry something you didn't have before, evidence. Evidence that you're resilient, that you're capable, that you don't just talk about faith, you live it. And let's be honest, most people want the prize but not the pressure. They want the results without the resistance. But anything worth having will cost you. It'll demand your time, your discipline, your discomfort. It'll demand your patience. And if you can endure that, if you can keep showing up when it doesn't make sense, when no one's clapping, when it feels like you're walking through fire, then when the victory comes, it won't just be about the win. It'll be about who you became to earn it. So don't curse the obstacle. Don't resent the process. Embrace it. Learn from it. Grow through it. That closed door, it's pushing you toward a better one. That delay, it's preparing you for what you prayed for. That failure, it's teaching you the blueprint for your comeback. You're not being buried, you're being planted. It's time to rise, even if you're scared, even if you're tired, even if you feel alone. Rise anyway, because the obstacle isn't in the way, it is the way. And once you see that, nothing can stop you. Not fear, not failure, not delay. Because now you know the truth, obstacles aren't setbacks, they're setups. And the storm, it didn't come to break you, it came to build you. You hear me when I say this, you are blessed, no matter what. Not because everything around you is perfect. Not because the sky is always clear or the road always smooth. But because in the midst of the mess, you still find something to be grateful for. And that right there, that gratefulness, is what separates those who survive from those who thrive. It's what pulls light into the darkness. It's what turns the ordinary into the extraordinary. And it's what gives your soul fuel to keep going when the world says, give up. See, we live in a time when it's easy to get caught up in what's missing. The empty spaces at the table, the unpaid bills, the dreams that got delayed or the promises that got broken, the weight of yesterday's mistakes and tomorrow's worries. And if you're honest with yourself, sometimes it feels like the storm will never pass. But even in the storm, if you look closely, you'll find blessings. Do you have a roof over your head tonight? Not everyone does. That shelter, that space you call home, that's a gift. Food on your table, fresh air in your lungs, people who love you, or maybe even more powerful, the strength to love yourself in the hardest moments. That is a blessing. And if you can see that, if you can feel that, then you're standing on solid ground, no matter how shaky the world feels. Gratitude is a choice, and not just some surface level thank you, tossed out when things are easy. I'm talking about the deep, soul-shaking, life-affirming kind of gratitude that wakes you up in the morning and keeps your feet on the ground when the night feels long. Gratitude is the anchor that keeps you from drifting when waves crash around you. It's the light that cuts through the darkest hours. But here's the catch: gratitude is not passive. It's active. It demands your attention. It asks you to look beyond what's wrong and focus on what's right. It says, yes, the pain is real, but so is the blessing. It says, yes, there's struggle, but there's also strength. It says, yes, the road is rough, but I'm still on the journey. When you start your morning in gratitude, you're not just starting the day, you're setting a tone for your life. You're telling the universe that no matter what comes, you will carry light through the darkness. You'll stand tall when others fall. You'll find peace when others panic. You'll see blessings when others see burdens. Because blessings don't always look like gold and glory. Sometimes blessings look like lessons learned. Sometimes they look like the quiet resilience inside you that no one else sees. Sometimes they look like the hope that refuses to be crushed by the weight of disappointment. So I want you to ask yourself right now, what are you grateful for? What blessings do you have that maybe you've been overlooking? Maybe it's a friend who checks on you when you're down. Maybe it's the lessons from your mistakes. Maybe it's the breath in your lungs, the beating of your heart, the strength in your hands. Recognize those blessings, hold them close, and let them be your foundation. Because when you build your life on gratitude, it doesn't matter what storms come your way, you will stand firm, you will rise, you will shine, you will be a beacon of hope, not just for yourself, but for everyone around you. And remember, this being blessed is not about perfection. It's about perspective. It's about looking at your life through a lens of grace, even when it's cracked and broken. It's about knowing that you are worthy, you are enough, and you have everything you need to keep moving forward. So no matter what you're facing today, no matter how heavy the load, remember this truth: you are blessed. Not because the world has been kind or easy, but because you have the power to find light in the darkness, hope in the struggle, and gratitude in the chaos. That is the kind of blessing that can't be taken away. That is the kind of blessing that fuels greatness. That is the kind of blessing that changes everything. So hold on to that truth, live in it, breathe it in, and walk boldly into your future, knowing that you are blessed, no matter what. Listen up, these 10 truths, these aren't just words you say and forget. No, sir, they are weapons. Weapons forged in the fires of doubt, fear, and the lies that try to convince you that you're not enough. But here's what you got to understand. These words, when you say them with conviction, when you live them with every breath you take, they become your armor. They become the foundation that keeps you standing when everything around you is shaking. When life hits you hard, and it will, remember this: you don't rise to the level of your feelings. Those feelings will try to drag you down, make you believe you're weak. But you don't rise to that level. You rise to the level of your habits. The habits you build, the discipline you keep, the mindset you choose every day. And here's the kicker: what you speak over yourself becomes what you believe. So speak life, speak power, speak victory over your circumstances. And when you wake up every morning, start like your future depends on it. Because it does. You're not just living for today, you're building something greater. So stand tall, speak bold, and keep pushing. The world is waiting for what only you can give.